Lori Cordell,
Here.
Glenn Garrett, Stuart Huffman,
Here.
Mike Kelly, present. Terry Perry,
Here.
Toby Swagger.
Here.
So we have enough for a quorum. First things first, elect a chair and a vice chair for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
I move Mike Kelly to be chairman. Glenn second.
I guess I will accept. All right, we'll go on to a vice chair. Do I have a motion for anyone? Anybody want to step up?
I'll move Stuart Huffman.
Stuart Huffman.
Second.
Toby gave us a second. Stuart? All right. Good to have you. And you know, she does a lot for us, so.
I know, big shoes to fill, I get it. I'll do everything I can.
Knock that out of the way, okay. We're gonna move on to approve the minutes from the previous meeting, November 25th, 2025.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
A motion to accept and a second. Moving right along. Any comments from the citizens? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll move right along to unfinished business. The LPRF 2025 Moss Wright Park traffic recirculation and pedestrian improvements.
So as you all know, we were awarded the Local Parks and Recreation Fund grant for the recirculation of Moss Wright Park. What we've done so far is we started through our contracting process and received a letter from TDEC that we were going to be required to do some archaeological digs to make sure that there were no findings within the area that we were going to be adding roadway, sidewalk, anything like that. So we contracted with a company and they came out and did some digs for us, and that was the ice storm kind of slowed that down a little bit. They did some digs for us. They had minor findings but no major findings, so they have prepared their report and we submitted that to TDEC a little over a month ago. So we're currently waiting for approval from TDEC to get started. From there we'll go to design, and we will not be doing any major construction that impacts any type of youth athletic leagues until probably next summer. There are things with design that we'll be able to do ahead of that, but our next step is really design as soon as we get approval from TDEC to move forward with the design as we've provided them with those findings. So that's just where we're at right now. We're just in a holding pattern at this point. So
Thank you. P Park Court lighting.
P Park Court lighting, this was part of our capital projects this year that has been complete. So if you have been up to the pickleball and tennis courts, you might have seen new LED lighting, and that is now complete. So we just wanted to update this board and let you know that we're done with that project.
Community Impact Awards.
Some of these things we had on here from previous meetings. For those of you all that were able to attend the Community Impact Awards, it was previously called our Volunteer in Parks Award. We took a shift with that this year through some initiatives that we've had as a city, and we did a citywide Community Impact Award event. So it was volunteers, not just with Parks and Recreation, but it could have been with Public Works, Adopt a Street, anything like that. We're going to continue doing that, so all this board will be invited in future years, but it's just something we realize there's a broader effort happening across the city. A lot of things happen in Parks and Recreation with volunteers, but there's other things that are happening across the city, and we just want to identify those people and thank those people as well. So that event was postponed because of the ice storm, but we did have that event, and we had a great turnout for that, and so we'll continue to do that. Usually it's in February each year, so that we'll continue on that path.
Moving along to new business. Ice storm response in North Creek Park.
So North Creek Park is almost actually back and operational. They've seeded the grass, as you all know, or I'm sure you know that North Creek Park was used for the staging area for all the debris removal during the ice storm. With that, we had to do some work on just getting the green space back together. We have some parking, we're going to do some adjustments to the gravel parking lot to get it back to where it was prior to the ice storm. And then from there, our team will go in and go through the disc golf course and just make sure that everything is playable. We did close the disc golf course during the duration of that because our team, it wasn't safe for anybody to be on property. So North Creek was closed during that portion of the ice storm. Again, we're almost back open, and then our staff will go through and just evaluate what that looks like along the disc golf course. So other things from the ice storm, our parks team, they did an amazing job. They actually helped out on the streets for a little bit. That first day, the first 2 days of the ice storm, they were rough. So they were helpful out on the streets. But then we had a lot of downed trees within all of our parks. Moss Ride Park took the biggest hit, and it continued to take hits as we moved past the ice storm. We had a very large tree that fell on a portion of the playground at Moss Ride Park. They were able to remove the tree and pull that piece of playground equipment up. We did get insurance money from that, and we will be replacing that piece of equipment. It was approved in this previous meeting to move forward with that. So that piece will be replaced with something similar in nature but still different. So that's all I have on the ice storm.
Lighting addition to Rachel's Garden.
We had someone reach out to us about adding something to Rachel's Garden that would make an impact, and that turned into a bigger effort. They asked what we needed at Rachel's Garden that wasn't identified within the grant or through the fire department, and we said lighting. It gets dark back there at night, and we wanted to be able to extend some play throughout the evening. And so Kenny Bird led the effort in raising funds for lighting for Rachel's Garden. Over $24,000 were raised. We've already purchased those lights and received those lights, so in the coming months, our team will be installing those lights. They're solar lights, so they're not going to be on, they probably won't be on all night, and that's not our goal to keep them on all night. We just want to extend play into the evening and still make it safe for the children. We found, especially during the fall when it gets dark earlier, there's still plenty of playtime left on that playground, but it was not possible without lighting. So we're extremely grateful for his efforts and him rallying the troops and coming up with over $24,000 to make that happen. So that will be a great addition to Rachel's Garden very soon.
Big thank you to Kenny for that. Aquatics update.
All right, we've had we haven't had a meeting in a while, and so I just kind of wanted to update you all as to where we are at with the pool and kind of what steps led us to the opening of the pool this season and what we're doing a little differently this season. So on page, and I won't go through every piece of this presentation. I just want to kind of give you a general overview. On page 5 of your packet, I've got just a summary update of what we did. So the commissioners held a study session on February 15th, and during that study session, we went over a presentation that follows starting on page 8 of kind of what the pool looked like for us in previous years, where participation was, and how much we're spending, and what does that look like for our future? Is this something that the commission wanted to keep investing in, or is it something that we wanted to look at doing something else with that space in the future? And so it was just a way for us to be transparent about where we were at, what we were spending, and really just start the conversation of what the future of Pleasant Green looked like. And so they, after that, there was a Board of Commissioner meeting on the 27th, and they outlined that they wanted to open the pool this year with limited operations, and they're going to revisit the topic in September after seeing how the pool season went this summer. And so with that, we did a partial update of the concession stand, because as you know, we lost that the prior year due to water damage within the concessions. We went in on the just the lifeguard, the side that the lifeguards are typically in. We went in on that side. We updated the HVAC. We did some minor repairs and made a space for them that is still a comfortable space for them. It just is outside of the concession stand. And then we took the football concession trailer over there, and we're running limited concessions out of that. And so they adopted, or they accepted the budget with that, and so this coming budget year will also reflect this pool season, and then actually half of next pool season. The way the budget hits, we have half of each pool season within 2 different budget years. And so from that, we wanted to, as a department, look at, okay, well, how do we put our best effort forward and really try to get people at the pool this summer? So first we did a survey, and we said, hey, what do you want to see at the pool? We hear, when we even mentioned other opportunities for the site at Pleasant Green, there was, everyone has really big ideas. So we wanted to see what that looked like. And we've got some survey, in your packet, we've got all the survey results in there, but a lot of the things that we were finding was that people wanted to see extended hours. They wanted to have more events at the pool. This came with some education, as everyone has said they want a dive-in movie. We do not have lighting over there that's adequate to host a dive-in movie. We cannot in good faith host a dive-in movie over there and feel comfortable with our lifeguards overseeing that. And so what we did was we took all of those results, and shockingly, one of the most wanted things that we had of that survey was people wanted a fitness class in an aerobics class in the pool, more so than swim lessons were mentioned. Aerobics classes were one of the biggest things, and then the extended hours. So we took that and we did what we could within our budget and looked at our schedule and said, okay, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, let's look at extending our hours. And so we've extended the hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays of the pool till 7:30 this year to see what that looks like. And I think, Dave, today's the first Tuesday that we've had, and
First Tuesday we had, I just texted before our meeting, and there's 16 people in the pool, so there is some that are using it, which is a good sign.
So and again, we've had bad weather too this past weekend, so we don't know what that's going to look like for us this season, but we have extended those. We were in the past offering pool parties every night of the week. We found that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were the most visited or most reserved evenings, so we just moved those to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only to allow us to open in the evenings a little later on that Tuesday, Thursday. We only have, as of now, we have 4 spaces left now. We had 6 this morning, and 2 people have reserved since then. So we have 4 spaces left for people to reserve pool parties. If we fill up in the next week, we might look at those evenings that we don't have something late. Look at expanding that, just because that helps our bottom line. Pool parties are a good moneymaker for us, so the more we host, the better. So we've extended those hours until 7:30 on Tuesdays, Thursdays. Dave has got his lifeguard certification, and he is going to be leading our aquatics, our aerobics class on Wednesday mornings. We've got some aerobics different times offered there. And then the recreation team was tasked with looking at the whole summer and coming up with small activities that can happen while we're open so we can still utilize the lifeguards. And it's not a huge cost to us, but little things that we can do to try to get more people there. And so I think that they've done a great job trying to put together a very attractive schedule, and also just finding opportunities for us to really push people to attend. And that's what we keep saying. If people want to see the pool continue to stay open, we've got to see attendance. We want, if it's a need and a desire in our community, we want to see people use it. And so that's kind of the larger scale of what happened. Y'all again have the full presentation that went to the commission, and then the full results of the survey as well within your packet. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any specific questions about that, but that's just kind of an overview of what we've done for this pool season. Again, it'll go back to the commission in September, and from there we'll see what that looks like. We did, and when we talk about budget in a few minutes, you'll see that we requested some things. If we are going to open the pool next summer, there are some capital requests that we have asked for within that budget. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And again, if y'all have any questions, we're happy to answer anything about the pool.
I love all the activities. You've planned everything from experience, Dave. I want to tell you that the water aerobics, the morning is going to be freezing. You might want to consider moving it in the afternoon just from experience, but that is such a wonderful thing if the water was warm, and you depend so much on the weather. It's just so hard. And it's the same thing with swimming lessons. You can't teach a child to swim in cold water, and older ladies are not going to get in that water. It's cold. You may be teaching it outside. Outside the pool. I don't know, so you may want to brush up on that. But I think it looks fabulous if it can work. I just would love to see it work. But our summers are so short now with the kids, and so it's tough. It is a tough thing to try to manage the pool under a certain budget, and the weather be so bad that people can't come, and the weather be cold. So I commend you all for going this extra mile to try to give it everything you got. So good luck with that. I hope it works out. In fact, I would come myself in the morning, but I know it's going to be freezing, so I won't be there.
And the reason really that we are doing the morning is because we do have the rentals at night and we have the later times. We don't want to host a water aerobics class while it's open to the public.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to be cold.
And it will be, hopefully, in a couple of weeks, it'll warm up. June and July, we're hoping that.
July will probably be great.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
As far as advertisement, have we put stuff on the city website more often? Because so many people are moving here that don't know about Pleasant Green.
Yeah, there's stuff on the city website. We've paid for ads throughout Facebook, or leading up to the pool. So the first day that the pool was available for rental or passes, people were able to purchase passes on April 1st. We had an ad that went out, and anyone within a 20-mile radius was targeted within that ad. And we're trying to post daily about the pool. We're trying to just continue to keep putting it out there that, hey, we have a pool, and we'll run. I think in the next 2 weeks I have another ad set to go. So we'll just continue to push it out. And it's on the website. The website's been updated. We have a calendar dedicated just to the pool activities within the website as well.
Hey, you could always, at Moss Ride, in between innings, announce the Pleasant Green is open. Get your ball team signed up for a party over there or something. But I'm just telling you, there's a million people at Moss Ride Park, so that's where you need to advertise it for sure.
And it's out here too on this sign. So when people are sitting on Main Street thinking about the traffic or the Main Street needing to be paved, they can think about the pool instead.
There's plenty of that out there.
Have you thought about putting just signs all over the city, I mean, not like political signs, but, you know, what I'm talking about is those signs around the city. And also maybe advertising in Hendersonville and Greenbrier, Bridgetop, you know, some places around there, like they got some kind of newsletter or something to bring around. I mean, are we doing that?
Every Friday, our news brief goes out to all the media, and I think the past 2 news briefs, maybe even 3, have had information about that. So from the news briefs, we've seen News 2 has picked up Goodlettsville in a lot of different areas, and so that goes out to all our media contacts, and so we're hopeful that will pick up, and somebody will definitely catch on to that. We are working through a rebrand as a city too, and so one of the things that we're going to do is some signage at our playgrounds that is consistent with the branding, but it's also going to be something that we can say, hey, the pool's open, the splash pad is open, we've got movies in the park these nights. So there's some other opportunities that we will have. We've tried really hard not to buy too much advertising stuff right now, or swag and handout. With this rebrand, we're about to switch over everything, and so there will be that opportunity as well.
Thank you for your hard work and dedication to it. Moving on to 2026 departmental goals.
Give me just a second, sorry. This 82-page packet is making it difficult to scroll through. All right, so we, as a department, we sat down and came up with some different goals this year, and so we just wanted you all to kind of see where we were at as far as our goals as a department, and give you an idea of kind of things that we're working on as we move through 2026. So one thing that we're trying to do is, some of these are administrative things, but, you know, standardize our record keeping and parks and facilities division. We're trying to be digital in everything that we're doing and have a digital record of everything. There's some things that we do that is a little, it's still antiquated. It's very old systems there. So things that we're doing to try to standardize those record keeping. We've moved a lot of what we do and all of the responsiveness into CityFix, the C-Click fix that we've pushed out in the past year, and so just standardizing those records. And then cross-training employees, we found, especially with the ice storm, that there's opportunity, since we're public services now. We've got Parks, Recreation, and Public Works. We have the opportunity to cross-train our employees and utilize all of our amazing employees in different areas when it makes the most sense. Increased safety trainings, that's something that we try to do every year. We're trying to be more collaborative in that across all the divisions, and that all goes back to cross-training too. So just making sure that all of our safety training and meetings are documented. Everyone is being cross-trained within that. We've got a goal of hosting a minimum of 1 additional athletic tournament. That's something that Dave and his team are working on. And there's a goal of introducing a block party event to P Park as well, and really just getting involved with the community that is behind the community center and Rachel's Garden. And then increase teen participation and recreation programming, and you'll get to hear about how we're doing that in just a minute. And then increase our attendance at Pleasant Green Pool. So these are just all things that we're working through as a department and trying to do better at increasing the attendance at Pleasant Green Pool. Again, is hopefully that is seen in some of the things that we're doing this year, and we can get some additional people to come to the pool.
The Teen Advisory Council.
Yes, so I can't remember which meeting it was that it was approved. Do you remember what time frame that would have been? Okay. Well, anyway, it was in the winter. We were approved to create a Goodlettsville Teen Advisory Committee. This committee will consist of middle school and high school students that are residents of Goodlettsville. And what our plan is to start this committee August 1st for the new 26-27 school year. We'll meet once a month, and basically the teen committee is tasked with coming up with special events, with some fundraising, with ideas and programming ideas for the teens and just the youth in Goodlettsville. This board is, the goal is to have a board of 11 members. Currently, we have 6 applicants that have submitted their applications. So we have until probably the end of June to accept nominations for the advisory committee. Once that deadline is passed, then we will form a committee to decide who's going to be on the board for this year. But it's a pretty good start, and we're looking forward to the new school year and see how this committee comes together and what ideas they can come up with.
If you know teens that live in Goodlettsville that are looking for an opportunity, please send them Dave's way. We would love to see all 11 of those spots filled.
Moving on to the citywide branding initiative.
We just wanted to bring it to y'all. I know that, I hope that you have seen some of the surveys that went out or attended a meeting, or participated in some way in the citywide branding. The city recognized through some different initiatives Mr. Ellis put together at the beginning of 2020, at the beginning of last budget year, some different initiatives, and one of those things that came out of it was that we needed to have more of a consistent look and message as a city. So beyond just a logo, we need to be more consistent in how we're communicating with our public. And so we enlisted Chandler Thanks to come in and do some different exercises with groups and held public meetings and did a citywide survey. And from that, they have developed a logo, and not just a logo, though. They've developed a story for us as a city. So it's been an exciting process. We think we know who we are. Hearing what people say from the outside, we think we know who we are. And so really letting them hear from not just us, but they went to other communities and surveyed people as well to say, hey, what do you know about Goodlettsville? And they took all of that and put together a story. And that story is going to be, I guess, made public at the June commission meeting. Chandler Thinks is going to come in and they're going to do the video.
I'm glad you reminded me. Yeah, they'll be here in June.
So they're going to come in. They're putting together a video right now. They're working on some deliverables, and they'll present that at the June commission meeting. So if you're unable to attend, please watch online. The story is, I think it's spot on for Goodlettsville. When we heard it, Cindy, who wrote it, who works for Chandler Thinks, she's an award-winning writer, and so just hearing her read that story, it's emotion-evoking. I get chills every time I hear it, and I hear something different every time I hear it too. But it's exciting to hear just other people taking other people's perspective and putting it all together of what we know Goodlettsville to be. So I'm excited for that to move forward. And like I said, you'll see some different initiatives, branding initiatives come from this. We're going to have a new logo, and so we'll have different swag. You'll get a new logo in some way in your bag next meeting. So we just wanted to make you all aware of that and kind of where we're at in the process with that and what that looks like. Our little flower logo will go away. Every department will have the same logo. It will just have the department name underneath it. So we're going to look more consistent as a city, and I think our messaging is just gonna. I think you'll see a positive transition for not just our department but across the city.
Thank you. Moving on to the budget, 26-27 year.
All right, the budget was presented to the commission in first reading last month. It'll go for second reading in June. And so I did it a little differently every year, but I did a chart. I took chunks of kind of how things fit together. I didn't print out our entire budget, but I did chunks of kind of how things fit together, so you can see on page 79, like what the breakdown of our budget looks like as far as maintenance, programs and events, different things like that, what the money is spent on. And within this year's budget, we had a couple minor decreases, but no major decreases. And we did add part-time funding or additional money in part-time for a marketing coordinator. We recognize with this brand, it's going to be really important that we work with our messaging and we're consistent in our messaging. And so we want to hire somebody to come on part-time and also somebody with experience that can help us with some social media and some different advertising initiatives. Below, you'll see on page 80, you'll see the capital outlay as it was presented to the commission. There is a whole list. Mr. Ellis can attest to this. I ask for the moon every year. And so there are items that were not advanced for the board's consideration that will be considered in future budget requests. But I did want you to see that just so you know that these are things that are on our radar that we know need to be taken care of or we know that we need. And it's something that we're going to be continuing to ask for each year. Same thing for the pool. I broke it down for you so you could see. If you look at the pie chart on page 81, I think it's interesting to see just how big of a chunk the employee salaries is. That's something that has definitely increased our budget for the pool in the past several years coming out of COVID and getting lifeguards. That pay increase is what really helped us get lifeguards again. So just something to look at. And then as far as the budget or the capital outlay goes, on page 82, you'll see that we have funding, or we've requested funding for concession renovation and then diving board replacement. We replaced one diving board this budget year. The other one it's limping along, but those we can only seal them so much and do so much to them. So we'll be hopefully replacing one of those if we continue in operation. And then again, other items that were not advanced for board consideration, but we will consider in future budget requests, things like lightning detection, resurfacing the pool deck, upgrading the chemical system, and then ADA improvements, which it's a huge chunk of my ADA improvements are. So just things that, again, we ask for the moon every year. I recognize that asking for $1 million is a little outlandish, but I do want it to be on the radar that these are needs and these are things that we need to consider in the future. So, any questions?
I assume these are all dependent on,
Second reading of board approval, yes, sir.
the lightning detection's on here twice, does that?
Lightning detection is on, is it on the pool twice? That was an error then. Yeah. Yeah, that was an error then. It's 7 for the pool. It was pulled, I copied and pasted from the one above, so that's what that was.
And the biggest reason why I eliminated it from the pool is the discussion that will be coming up later this year, whether or not there'll be a pool, so didn't want to invest in it if it wasn't going to be there 12 months from now.
So Sarah, kind of the same question. Obviously the $1 million ADA jumps out, and I know the commission approved the pool to be open one more year. 2 questions. One, how much longer, let's say we continue to extend it a year at a time, would be allowed to open the pool without making these upgrades?
I would say that I think we're subject to ADA compliance at any time. The question was how long would we be able to operate the pool going year by year without doing ADA upgrades? And
Yeah, I guess that's my question. Are we, and I guess and then my other question would be, I know there's some other alternatives here. If we looked at one of those alternatives, how much of that $1 million would we have to spend regardless of what step we might take, whether it be keep the pool as is or go with one of these other alternatives?
So as far as the restroom, the restroom facility to the pool is not ADA compliant. There's a concrete pad that leads to nowhere right now, and then you go in the grass until you get to the pool. The pool deck itself is ADA compliant, and we have the lift to get in the pool. It's just a matter of getting from the main gate to the pool. That's one. Our restrooms are not ADA compliant, which we run into that issue in, quite frankly, a lot of our restrooms. They're older buildings, and these are all things that we're looking at as we do any types of upgrades. We've got to continue investing into ADA compliance. We do that each year through the past couple of years. We've done it through adding sidewalks. This past year, we added a sidewalk from Shelter 3 to the playground to make that ADA compliant. We've done that up here from the parking lot to the pickleball courts. So we did an ADA transition plan in 2017 or 18.
Probably 18, something like that.
And so it outlined things and identified things that need to be addressed as far as ADA compliance goes. And so we're making conscious efforts to do that, but I think we need to look at some bigger chunks of these conscious efforts in the future. It's hard to say, yeah, let's put $1 million into ADA compliance at a pool that is, yeah. And so what does that look like in the future? Did that answer your question, kind of?
Moving on to the microchip scanning station.
We had an idea brought to us by our friends at Hendersonville Parks and Recreation, actually. They installed a microchip scanning station at their dog park. And it drummed up some excitement on Facebook. We had some people reach out to us and say, hey, why don't we have this in Goodlettsville? So we've talked with Hendersonville, and we've talked with a couple other cities too, and it is a very easy and affordable thing to do. A microchip scanning station it's just a little tool that you can scan a dog and see if it has a microchip in it. If it does, it pops up with a number. You scan a QR code, and you can identify who the pet owner is. And so it's something that it's less than $500. We thought, when we started down this path, we're like, oh, this is going to be an outrageous cost to us, but it's actually a very affordable thing, and it's something that is not currently in our community. And so you will see us pushing some stuff out in the next couple of weeks as we get signage done. We've already bought the equipment, and we're going to have two. We haven't identified a second area or a second space yet. We're going to have one at Mosswright Park at the dog park, and then we're going to identify an area on the Davidson County side of the city to place one as well.
Moving on to the reports from the staff division managers.
Josh is not here tonight. They were mowing. They were spending a lot of time mowing, but this rain has allowed them to catch up on some other stuff. And so they're doing their normal summer project stuff. They didn't have anything out of the ordinary to report. Working on ball fields. And we'll have some tournaments coming up that they'll be preparing the fields for as well.
And I'll just add a little bit to that with the recreation/parks component. I've got some figures for our youth leagues if you guys are interested. Our MTFC, the Middle Tennessee Football Club, rec soccer, had 118 residents, 392 residents for a total 510 participants. The total revenue from the player fees was $20,590, and that is 30% of that league had Goodlettsville residents in it. Tusk Travel Soccer had 6 residents and 418 non-residents, which is 1% are Goodlettsville residents. The total revenue there was $18,960 and 424 total. Softball had 31 residents, 130 non-residents, which is 24%, 161 total players, and total revenue was $6,625. And then baseball had 87 residents, 468 non-residents, so 19% were Goodlettsville residents, 555 total players for total revenue of $23,235. And that was our numbers for the youth leagues for this year.
And I'll add one thing we're talking about internally.
No, correct, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, as far as internally goes, we're having conversations about how we increase our participation in athletic leagues for our residents. You hear those numbers and we're 80-20 or even lower than that. And so we're talking internally about how we can do that, and we're gonna be getting with the leagues to see how we can help support them in marketing to the residents about their leagues. Because it's a lot easier for us to ask for money for different upgrades for fields or things like that when we have a higher resident rate turnout, because it's our tax-paying residents that are utilizing these. So we're open to any and all suggestions, and we're hopeful to see those numbers increase. I think that I don't ever think that we'll be at 100% residents by any means, and we don't want that. We want other participants as well, but we would love to see our residents increase.
Why do you think that is? Are we just an older, or, and I've been to both parks. It looks like Goodlettsville is more serious, kind of, and maybe some of the other parks aren't as, they're a little more laid back or something. I mean, what do you think? I don't know. I mean, does anybody know the answer to that? Why we wouldn't have as many residents in our own park?
I think a lot of it has to do with our age in our community.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Also, now we're seeing kids that are.
Yeah, Ms. Cordell, and I guess the thing that troubles me the most is as we grow, those numbers are actually going backwards. And currently, the collection of those fees is done by the league, talking about the city's fees, and a city resident pays the same thing as what a non-resident does, and it's honestly absurd, and I know it really falls back on me from the standpoint, as a tax-paying citizen, why should I have to pay the same thing as someone from White House or Hendersonville to come in and play? Because, I've heard arguments before about this and about that. At the end of the day, unless it's weekend tournaments, the impact to sales tax is actually very minimal, and so it really falls back on to what the property taxes are that everyone's paying.
No, I just think our park is just set the bar so high. I just can't imagine why our residents wouldn't want to play here, because it's excellent. I mean, it's above any other park, I think. I don't understand that. I just think that's a quandary, kind of. So when we get all that figured out, when y'all get your task force together, let me know.
I think also it has to do a lot with more sports programs are coming up now. There's a lot more than we had before. We've got lacrosse,
Rugby, lacrosse.
So a lot of different things going on.
That's true.
And
Where do we get our umpires? Just from a perspective, I do have some dogs in the fight at the park, but I know the girls' side of our umpires some of them can't even bend over to pick up the bat. They can't hustle down the line. I feel sorry for them, and I keep thinking that I need to put in my application to be an umpire because I think I could do a better job. I don't care about the right or wrong, but I'm just worried they're going to get hurt. I'm just worried. So I guess I need to ask you, Mike, maybe the person, the head of the softball league, or the guys seem to, they know what they're doing, but on the girls' side, it's rough. I don't know if y'all have any girls playing ball, but it's rough.
It's usually left up to the league itself.
Okay, I don't know if the girls just get the
Yeah.
leftovers, I guess, or something.
No,
but-
we're separate from them.
So
we
I
have
just
our
need to
own
talk to
stack
the,
of umpires.
I know we had a push for lifeguards, and y'all got a ton of good we need to maybe get some of these high school kids, but they play until graduation, and then the league's almost over. I mean, it starts in April, and you're done by, it's over, so maybe that's the problem. But yeah, I know several people have come up to me just because they knew I was on the Parks Board and go, what can we do about these umpires? And I said, I guess we need to talk to the league first and see where I don't know if they get them from our community or somewhere else,
And
but.
at one time, and I do not know, because I've been out of the game too long, at one time, they had an agreement with an umpire association that was providing them. I don't know if that's still the case or
Okay,
not.
I'm going to check that out because several people have asked me about it because they wanted to write a letter. I mean, seriously, it's just, there's lack of, just any effort and, I don't know, it's just kind of sad to me. And I've worried about it. I thought, oh, they probably need the money. Let's don't say anything. But it's really gotten where kids have almost gotten hurt. They don't pick the bats up out of the baseline. They don't, say if it's an out or not. They just, I don't know. Nobody here has a girl, I guess, that plays, right? They're all boys?
I had two girls that
Okay.
went through the whole system at the park in softball, and I agree with you totally, 100%. I think if you want to do a task force against that, I'm right there with you. Because I had a lot of issues with the umpires, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. I care less about the score. I'm just worried somebody's going to get hurt.
Well, the one thing I'll say is it's going to be sports specific because, for example, soccer is, I think, pretty structured in how the umpires are trained. And if you, like MTFC is a member of Tennessee State Soccer and therefore is required to use umpires that are certified for insurance purposes. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get the calls right or wrong. Doesn't mean they're going to, but you at least do know there's a certain, they've had to do something, take classes.
Keep
that kind
thinking
of thing.
John Hood is the best. I just love him, watching him. He needs to have a training class within, like for the girls' side of and I know they don't have as many and all that, but of course I've got 3 girls over there playing. And I just close I'm just like, I write a letter. I'll try to find out what I need to do, so.
Well, and one other thing you've got to consider as well, there's so many tournaments going on that if I'm an umpire, I can referee. I mean, even I'm sure softball's this way. You're going to make a little more per game fee, and I could referee Friday night, Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah,
and then I'm done for the week. And so then it's a trickle down effect. It's
I
kind of
guess so, yeah.
Who's left to?
Yeah, we'll talk, Stuart.
And
I
Ms.
can put you
Cordell, it really is solely up to the softball board.
Okay,
So that would be who you would need to speak to.
This is a long time coming. Thank you so much, Lori.
So I can put both of your names down for baseball umpiring.
If I
We're
had the
always-
time, I would do it.
We're always looking for help.
I could do a 10 times better job than 3 of those out there. I'm just telling you, I felt, do what? Oh, man. Just
Unfortunately,
some
it's come to that. Yeah.
Something, let us
Yeah.
know when it's an out or it's not an out, just call it.
Cool side of baseball is we're having more of our players come back and do the umpiring thing.
We'll have them come to the
So,
girls' side.
It's a lot of fun to watch kids that you've coached come back
Oh,
and
yeah.
out there umpiring now. So we usually have a pretty good staff of umpires that we can pull from, but we're always looking for more.
All right, so for the recreation side, as far as our updates, I just wanted to highlight a couple of activities and special events that we have throughout this summer. We have 4 movies in the park on June 5th, June 19th, July 31st, and August 14th. Those are all Fridays, and then the other Fridays, we have Fun Fridays. June 12th is Touch a Truck, June 26th is Waterfest, July 10th would be Zoo Fest, and July 24th will be when our magician comes in. So we've got some really cool events coming up there. On Friday, August the 7th, the Friday after the pool closes, we're going to have a classic car cruise-in car fit for our seniors and basically for anyone. A car fit basically is where people who are trained in dealing with individual cars will adjust people's mirrors, will adjust their seats, basically making it to where it's the safest positions for the seniors to be driving. And then we'll have a car show on top of that. Other than that, I did want to mention that we are hosting Community Connect and Learn lunches, and that's for all ages at the community center. It's a great partnership with local businesses and organizations and is free to the public. We have 10 upcoming Mondays in the next 6 months at the community center for these Community Connect and Learns, and they are at 12:30. We also have a couple of major sponsors for the Independence Day event. RCX Sports Foundation is one of our special event sponsors, as well as Darnell Clay Jr. Agency with State Farm. So we thank them very much as well. And that's other than the pool activities that we have going on, that's what we've going on this summer.
Thank you, Dave. Comments from the board and staff?
Just want to say, y'all are just doing a fabulous job. Appreciate all you do to help us out. Thank you.
I concur with what she just said. Maybe a couple of announcements that we've got coming up. And I know there's another softball tournament mixed in with this somewhere, and I apologize, I don't know the dates on those, but I do have the baseball. Baseball 7 and 8-year-old district tournament through Little League is going to be starting June the 19th, maybe, possibly the 20th. We're looking at those 2 dates. One's on a Friday, one's on a Saturday, so it'll end on or before, depending on the wins and losses of everyone, on the 25th. On July 11th, let me make sure I'm right, 7 and 8-year-old, we're hosting the Little League Baseball State Tournament. So we'll be starting that on July 11th. We'll have opening ceremonies. We're working to see if we can iron that out on July the 10th at Pleasant Green. So we'll have a lot of kids over there for that, hopefully, if we can get it worked out. That's all I have.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion's made. Do I have a second? There's a second.
Great.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.